You probably found this video because you're thinking of moving to Boise, Idaho, and you've heard such great things about it, but your biggest fear about moving to Boise, Idaho is the snow. So today's video, I am going to show you what it actually looks like in Boise when it snows. It's obviously snowing right now. It's about 13 degrees. We're expected to get a lot more snow tonight. We're going to talk all about the snow in Boise. I'm going to show you what it looks like on the roads, in the neighborhoods, and answer those most frequently asked questions that we get from you guys that are thinking about moving to Boise but are concerned about the wintry weather. So right now I'm standing at the top of the hill in the Veterans Cemetery. It has a fantastic overlook of the city. You can see we're getting socked in snow right now. And then behind me this way is the mountains. So you can see that the mountains are also getting socked in snow. So while getting snow in the valley is pretty common, we usually get a few snowstorms a year, but most typically we just get a couple of inches and then it melts the next day. What's uncommon is what we have right now, where we get this Arctic weather coming in, and then it's cold enough that the snow doesn't melt, and then it starts to pile up. So this type of snow that we're having right now, it's not quite as common, but I would have to say that most people here think it's pretty exciting when it happens because it means great ski condition in the mountains and water for the summer. It's getting a little bit chilly out here, so let's go hop in the car and let's take a tour. Okay, so this is driving down Hill Road. This is on the far northwest side of Boise. And I apologize for the windshield wipers that you're going to see throughout this video. I am not going to hang my hand out the window. It will be completely numb in 3 seconds, so you'll just have to see the windshield wipers once in a while. This is a main road, and so as you can see, it's been cleared. So since it's snowing right now, there's a little bit of snow starting to stick on the road again. But in general, the Ada County Highway District, they do keep these roads cleared. Okay, so one of the most frequently asked questions that we get about the snow around here is if it's different in different areas of the valley. And in general, it's not. Our valley, the Treasure Valley, is about an hour's drive wide and long. And it's pretty much the same weather. It can be windier out on the south side, but it's pretty similar. Where it's a little different is in the foothills, and some of our most popular communities for people to relocate to are communities like Hidden Springs, Dry Creek Ranch, and Avamore. And that is often one of people's biggest concerns about these foothills communities is what is the snow going to be like during the winter. So we are driving right now to Hidden Springs. You can see what the snow is like right now. It's snowing a little bit. This is a road that is maintained by the county. They do either plow it at certain points, they will use sand, or they use a chemical de-icer, which they do all throughout the city as well. But as it is snowing a little bit right now, you can see that the snow is starting to build up on the roads. So it's possible in Hidden Springs that they could get maybe like an inch more of snow than they do at the base of the foothills. But more often than not, you see the difference when the snow line is pretty low and it'll be raining in the valley and then it'll snow in Hidden Springs. And in that case, that means it's pretty warm, and so typically even if it snows an inch or two in Hidden Springs when it's been raining in the valley, it's going to be melting if it's that warm. Of course, it always just depends on the snow and that particular system. So actually right now, the south side of the valley has been getting more snow than this north side has. And we have a friend that's over in Meridian right now, and they said it was absolutely dumping snow over there, and here it's just snowing pretty lightly. But all in all, the snow totals will be pretty similar, and it will be windier the farther south of the freeway you go, but it'll overall end up being the same with the same storm. So before we make it into Hidden Springs, we'll talk about another frequently asked question, and that is, do you need all-wheel drive? So yes, if you have one all-wheel drive car in your household, it's definitely going to be helpful for times like this, but it's not absolutely necessary. Sometimes a regular front-wheel drive car, and especially if you get snow tires, then that's very helpful. But snow tires aren't even necessary, seeing as how this type of snow is pretty infrequent for us. Oftentimes people just stay home if they have to for a couple of days, and really if they stay on the main roads, they're pretty clear. This road we're on right now, Siemens Gulch, it's not a main road, so that's why there's more snow on it. If you plan on driving up to McCall in the winter, or Sun Valley, or Bogus Basin Ski Resort, then yes, definitely you're going to need a four-wheel drive or an all-wheel drive vehicle for that. But if the local high schoolers who are learning how to drive can drive their front-wheel drive vehicles in the snow and be pretty safe around town, then if you are coming from a warmer climate, you can learn how to do it too. So on a different road in Hidden Springs, you can see that this is what the roads are like when they're not plowed in the neighborhoods. And so really that's kind of where the roads are the most slippery around the valley, is in the neighborhoods where they're not getting plowed. So people just drive carefully, and once you get out of the neighborhood, they're cleared. So for this particular storm, it looks like Hidden Springs actually got less snow than we did down on the other side of the foothills, but we will measure, and we're going to measure the snow here and see how deep it is, and then we will measure the snow in Avamore and see how deep that is, and then we'll measure the snow back in the valley area on the other side of the foothills and see how deep that is. Okay, we're in Hidden Springs and we're going to see how deep the snow is. Looks like it's just under 4 inches deep. All right, and how does school work when we get snow? So we actually don't get too many snow days here. The school districts do allow for a certain amount of snow days. They have that calculated into their schedule. But we have a lot of winters where we don't even get any snow days. So of course, when the kids do get a snow day, it's always super exciting. We did get a snow day when the snow first started falling because we got so much overnight, and it's largely dependent on if the roads have been cleared and how the buses are running. But since then, the kids haven't gotten snow days. Okay, so we left Hidden Springs and we're gonna go up to Avamore and see if they have any more snow up there. So this is Highway 55. This is a very main road. This road goes all the way up to Canada eventually if you wanted to go up that way. But this is the road that goes up to McCall, goes up to Horseshoe Bend and heads north. They do keep this road cleared, but as it's been snowing the last half an hour, you can see that the snow is building up on the road. So in general here, our snow is very dry. It's not like the snow in the Sierras that's very wet and super slippery. So it can make for a little bit safer driving conditions. The chains are not necessarily required on most of the roads in Idaho. They're recommended, but there aren't any like stop points like they have on Highway 80 where they're gonna make you put on chains or check for all-wheel drive. But generally you're just going to slow down when you're driving, and you're going to take a long time to brake slowly and take longer to accelerate. And you can always tell who the newcomers are to Idaho during the snow, because when we're driving on, we're driving a little slower right now obviously because of these road conditions, but when you're driving on the main city roads that are all cleared, they drive so slow. So you can definitely tell who the newcomers are. So we're heading into Avamore. There definitely are times when Avamore gets more snow than the valley. There's often times where we might get like 1 or 2 inches in the valley, and then Avamore might get 3 or 4 or 5 inches. So they can frequently get a few inches more than we do in the valley. But we will measure here to see if with this particular storm they actually got more snow than the valley did. Okay, so we're in the lower level of Avamore, and let's see how much snow they have. Aha, 6 inches. So they do have 2 more inches than there is at Hidden Springs. And I would imagine that as you get towards the houses that are in the tops of the hills, they could have maybe an inch more than that. So since we're in this neck of the woods and we've been traveling on some roads that are, well, this is a main road. We're back on Highway 55, but we've been traveling on some of those other roads that aren't really main roads. Then we will go back down into Eagle so you can kind of see what the roads look like there. Other tips for you to deal with the snow here is if you purchase a house that has a south-facing driveway, then that snow will melt off that driveway. And in our normal snowstorms where we just have an inch or two and it's pretty warm outside still, it's usually like the mid-30s, then once the sun comes out, if you have a south-facing driveway, you don't even have to shovel. That'll just melt right off. But if you have a north-facing driveway and that is shady all day in the winter, then even if we don't get that much snow, then you would probably have to shovel. But either way, in weather like this, where it snows quite a bit and then it stays cold so the snow isn't melting, no matter the direction of your driveway, you're going to be needing to clear it. So a tip is to just stay on top of that. Don't let it build up too much. It becomes harder to shovel. Also, get a push shovel. You don't need a snowblower here unless you happen to live with a very long driveway or something like that. Lots of people do have snowblowers, and usually it's people who like to kind of help out the community, and they'll go around and snowblow all the sidewalks to be helpful. But you don't need a snowblower here. Another tip here is do not use that ice melt stuff on your driveway. On the concrete of the driveways here, it will cause pitting over time. So in 2016, when we did have so much snow that stayed for a long time, the driveways that people were using that stuff on, they took a beating and they were pitted and flaky and falling apart. So just keep it shoveled. Okay, and we are back on Highway 44 or State Street, and yes, they do clear this road as well. And of course, we've been getting snow, so there's snow on the road. But once we have enough snow, they'll be coming by and they will be clearing this road. And there they are, clearing the road right now as we speak. So I thought I'd show you a little bit of what the snow is like walking inside the neighborhoods. So yes, when it's so cold outside and it snows, you can still get out and walk your dog. People do it every day, all the time. It's especially nice when people take the time to shovel their walkways and shovel the sidewalk in front of their house. So it's actually a rule that if you are responsible for keeping the sidewalks clear from snow in front of your house. Okay, so we are actually back in my backyard. So let's take the measurement here and see how deep the snow is. So we are right at about 5.5 to 6 inches. So that's pretty interesting. So for at least this storm, Hidden Springs got less snow than Avamore did or we did down here in the valley. And this is the next day. It actually snowed a lot last night. So let's go and see how deep the snow is now. Right at about 11 inches. So hopefully this video helps you learn what to expect when it does snow here in the Boise area and helps you overcome any of those fears that you may have about moving here to the Boise area. Of course, if you want to learn more about moving here, then you can always go to my website. You can reach out there and contact us there, summerastonrealestate.com. Send us a text or an email if you want to set up a time to chat about moving here. We have all kinds of helpful resources. We've got relocation guide. We've got a map tour for you. You can sign up for the newsletter so you can stay on top of everything for the Boise real estate market. And you can always follow us on Instagram. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.